Hey, what the hell are you doing? How are you? Nick Digilio here. Hey, thanks for checking out my YouTube channel. I got hundreds of videos here that you should check out. Scroll down, leave your comments, give your feedback, all that cool stuff. Please subscribe to my podcast, the Nick D Podcast. New episodes every Tuesday and Friday. It's part of the Radio Misfits Podcast Network. You can check out radiomisfits.com or go to anywhere, every platform from Apple to Amazon to Spotify. Every single platform you can find the Nick D Podcast. Entertainment podcast with reviews and great guests and fun stuff. And Esmeralda Leon is my co-host. New podcast is going to be launching in January, all about Saturday Night Live. Yes, I am a Saturday Night Live historian and expert. And once a week, you will hear this new podcast called That Show Hasn't Been Funny in Years, an SNL podcast. I don't believe that statement. In fact, people who say that show hasn't been funny in years are morons. And I'm going to prove that every week. So check that out. That'll launch January 11th. So check that out. All right. And so I unveiled my favorite movies of the year in a video here on YouTube and on Patreon. By the way, you can give some money on Patreon. That would be awesome if you did. It would help out a lot. Patreon.com/NickD Show. Donate today. Give whatever you can. It'll help. It'll be cool if you did that. And I've already talked about it on WLS, where you can hear me every other Friday on the Steve Cochran Show on WLS AM, the Big 890 in Chicago. And also on my Facebook page and Twitter and all that stuff. I've unveiled my favorite movies of the year, my least favorite movies of the year, and we'll be doing a podcast on that with Eric Childress and Steve Procopi coming up January 7th, I believe, January 8th. That full podcast about the best and worst of 2022 will be out there. But I want to concentrate today on the best performances of the year. Because some great performances that I really, really love were in movies that didn't necessarily make my best of list for 2022. And some great performances were in movies I didn't like very much, or I didn't mention when I talked about some of the best movies of the year. So this is strictly best performances of the year in movies. And it's supporting performances, it's lead performances, it's women, it's men. So it's actor, actress, supporting actor. The general best movie performances of 2022. And they're in no particular order. I just kind of jotted down a bunch of them. So let me get to that. These are the best movie acting performances of 2022 in every category. So let me fly down some of these. Lashana Lynch from The Woman King was fantastic. Played one of the biggest badasses of the year in The Woman King, which is a really terrific action movie. It was on my runner-up this list. But Lashana Lynch from The Woman King. Paul Dano in The Batman. Forget his stupid-ass performance in The Stupid-Ass Fabelmans, which is a piece of shit, and he's not good in it. It's a terribly written role, by the way. But Paul Dano, as the guy who becomes the Riddler in The Batman, which The Batman is the best Batman movie ever made, the darkest, most film noir, most realistic portrayal of the Batman story ever. Matt Reeves' brilliant movie. And Paul Dano is tremendous as the Riddler in this movie, and he is terrifying, like weird and creepy, and adds a lot of menace to it. There's a scene near the end of the film where the Batman goes to see the Riddler at Arkham in the asylum. It's the scariest scene of the year, and a lot of that has to do with how fucking great and terrifying Paul Dano is in The Batman. So the Riddler, terrifying performance, one of the best of the year. Paul Dano in The Batman. Dylan McCormack in Good Luck to You, Leo Grand, which is basically a two-person show. I will get to Emma Thompson in a couple of minutes, because one of the best performances of the year by a woman was Emma Thompson in this movie, and one of the best acting performances of the year, her scene partner throughout the entire movie, Dylan McCormack in Good Luck to You, Leo Grand. Great performance. Janelle Monáe in Glass Onion. The only thing in Glass Onion that I didn't think was shit. Yes, Glass Onion is a bad movie, except for one quick joke involving Edward Norton dressing up like Frank T.J. Mackey from Magnolia, like dressing up exactly like Tom Cruise's character in Magnolia, and that's just in one scene, except for that one hilarious moment, which was Edward Norton's idea, which is the best part of the movie by far. Glass Onion is crap, except for Janelle Monáe. Really good performance. I just felt like she needed to have a better movie around her, because it's such a stupid-ass movie, Glass Onion, but she's great in it. Florence Pugh in The Wonder. Florence Pugh continues to be one of the most consistently brilliant and awesome actresses on the planet. She was unfortunately stuck in that terrible Olivia Wilde shamalama ding dong wannabe piece of shit, Don't Worry Darling, and all the drama that thing happened because was Olivia Wilde fucking hairy dumbass Styles, and Jason Sudeikis presenting papers to Olivia, all the soap opera that surrounded that dumbass movie that deserves no attention. The only good thing in the movie was Florence Pugh and Don't Worry Darling, but she's terrific in The Wonder, a great performance in a really, really good movie that a lot of people have completely forgotten about. It's on Netflix now. It's called The Wonder, the great Florence Pugh. Again, proving what a great actress she is. Woody Harrelson in The Triangle of Sadness. Triangle of Sadness, the first two-thirds of The Triangle of Sadness is a pretty great dark comedy. But the second act, the second part, the second chapter, where it's basically people on a cruise ship shitting and puking for 20 minutes straight. Like, that's what the whole thing is about. It's about bad seafood and rough seas and a lot of diarrhea and shit flying across the room and a lot of vomit spewing across the room for like 20 minutes. But the best part of that whole movie is Woody Harrelson as the captain of the ship. Woody Harrelson in Triangle of Sadness. Rachel Sennett. Rachel Sennett is a terrific young actress. Part of a great ensemble cast in one of my favorite movies of the year, Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. An incredibly potent and powerful punch to the face of Gen Z, dumbass, early 20 motherfuckers who wouldn't know their butt from their elbow. And this movie, Bodies, 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 is a great sort of horror / murder mystery / brutal satire of Gen Z. And everybody in it is great, from Pete Davidson all the way down. But Rachel Sennett is the best performance in the movie, in a movie filled with great performances. But I wanted to single her out. Amber Midthunder in Prey, which was the straight-to-Netflix sequel of sorts to Predator, which is in the Predator universe. She's fantastic in this movie. It's a great physical performance, really just a great performance all the way around in a really solid, fun movie that falls into the Predator series. That's called Prey, and I wanted to mention Amber Midthunder. People from The Menu, which I really, really loved, which was a much better stranded on an island, rich people whodunit than fucking Glass Onion. The Menu is much better. It's much more clever. It's much more potent. It says much more. It has much more to say about society. It's much more brilliant in its reach of satire. Has more laughs. The mystery is much more entertaining, and the acting is 9,000 times better. Glass Onion is the bad murder mystery of the year. The Menu is the great murder mystery of the year, and the performances are all great, an incredible cast. But I wanted to mention three in particular. I wanted to mention Anya Taylor-Joy, who, of course, is remarkable in everything that she does. Nicholas Hoult, and Ralph Fiennes, and everybody else in it is also terrific, from John Leguizamo all the way around. The Menu, but those three performances I wanted to mention really quickly. Evan Rachel Wood as Madonna in Weird, the Al Yankovic story, one of my favorite performances of the year, one of the best supporting performances of the year, and easily one of the best comedic performances of 2022. She's fucking great, as is everybody, and I loved Weird. The Weird Al Yankovic movie. Thought it was hilarious. A great parody and satire of biopic movies. It was like, what Weird Al does for songs, this is what they did for biopic movies. It completely mocks the biopic. But Evan Rachel Wood, a truly great comedic performance as Madonna in Weird. Evan Rachel Wood. Jennifer Lawrence and Brian Tyree Henry in Causeway. Two of the most subtle, most beautiful, wonderful performances of the year about a friendship that blossoms into something much deeper, with Brian Tyree Henry and Jennifer Lawrence giving two of the best performances of the year. Brian Tyree Henry has a real good chance of being nominated for Best Supporting Actor for Causeway. But Jennifer Lawrence has been really shoved under the rug with this movie, and so is the movie. It's a strong film, a really beautiful movie, with two great performances at the center. That's Causeway, Jennifer Lawrence and Brian Tyree Henry. Ethan Hawke and Ewan McGregor, both fantastic in Raymond and Ray, another one of my runner-ups for best film of 2022. They play brothers who have to go and bury their father, literally have to bury their father because it was a wish, one of his last wishes. And it's about all the closure that they have to go through and all the problems that they've had within the family and the relationships and all the other relatives and shit like that. But Ewan McGregor and Ethan Hawke, fantastic in Raymond and Ray. Oh, Rowan Campbell. Sorry, Rowan Campbell in Halloween Ends. Yeah, that's right. That's right, Mr. Cunningham in Halloween Ends. I didn't hate Halloween Ends. I watched it a second time and liked it more. I actually think it's a good film, except for all of the stupid Michael Myers, Laurie Strode bullshit, and a lot of those scenes. But everything that doesn't involve Michael Myers and just involves the kid, great stuff. Great stuff. So, I'm saying Rowan Campbell in Halloween Ends, great performance. Vicky Krieps in Corsage, a terrific performance that might sneak in and get a nomination for her. Great lead performance, really, good satire and a great performance by Vicky Krieps. Viola Davis in The Woman King, she might get nominated. There's a real strong chance she'll get nominated. I wanted to mention her. Christian Bale in Amsterdam, and a whole bunch of other great performances in Amsterdam. I mean, from top to bottom. Anya Taylor-Joy again is in that. She was also in The Northman. She was great in that. You got Rami Malek. You've got Chris Rock. John David Washington is fantastic in it. Margot Robbie, who was also great in Babylon, which I'm going to mention in a couple of seconds. But yeah, all the performances in Amsterdam, a criminally underrated, and totally misunderstood movie from David O. Russell. But I wanted to mention Christian Bale specifically in Amsterdam. Jenny Slate, Marcel the Shell. She's been voicing this character for years on the internet and virally and all that stuff. They finally made a major motion picture, full-length motion picture out of it. Fantastic. You can't not talk about great animated performances of this year and not mention Jenny Slate's incredible performance as Marcel. Billy Eichner in Bros. Wonderful performance, terrific script, one of the best rom-coms ever, and completely dismissed and completely ignored by 95% of the straight Americans. Because they're fucking morons, and it was an incredible, a really depressing display of homophobia that led this movie to not get the kind of attention and accolades it deserves. Bros was one of the most entertaining and one of the best movies of 2022. It was absolutely one of the funniest and the best rom-com in years, and people didn't see it because it's gay. It's a gay movie. That's why they didn't see it. But Billy Eichner not only deserves credit for a great screenplay, but a terrific performance. Rebecca Hall continues to be one of the most interesting, craziest, risk-taking, ballsiest, and awesome actresses on the planet. Rebecca Hall in the horror movie Resurrection, a great performance. Tim Roth, also great in that. All three performances in official competition. The Mexican film about movie making, about making movies and what goes into it, and the ego that drives it from the director, from the actors, from the people involved. A tremendous movie about making movies, a brilliant satire, and absolutely hilarious. And the three performances in that were just outstanding. Penelope Cruz, who just is a gift from God. Antonio Banderas, who has never been funnier. And Oscar Martinez in official competition, those three. Harry Melling had a really terrific year. Harry Melling, you remember from the Harry Potter movies. Well, he's grown up and now he's making movies, and he was in The Pale Blue Eye, in which he played Edgar Allan Poe, which is an interesting, goofy, but fun and beautifully mounted mystery with Christian Bale. And he was also in Please Baby Please, the really great, over-the-top, very John Waters-esque drag musical that he was fantastic in. And so he was terrific in that. A great year for Harry Melling. Emma Thompson I mentioned earlier, but she had a great year in two movies. Good Luck to You, Leo Grand, which is one of the best performances she's ever given. And she's fucking fantastic in Matilda the Musical, the Roald Dahl Matilda story done to music. She plays the she plays the woman who runs the school, the headmistress. She's fantastic, and she sings and dances, crazy costume, great. Emma Thompson, good year for her. Siri Soliana, who was in a horror film called Hatching. Hatching is this insane Finnish horror movie, and this little girl, Siri Soliana, is unbelievable. It's a great child performance, really insane, very bloody, very weird. They ask a young girl to do some really crazy, scary, gory shit in this movie, and she's fantastic. Physically, mentally, a great performance. From Finland, Siri Soliana from Hatching. Zoe Deutsch and Mark Rylance were terrific in a little film called The Outfit, which was a period piece about an old guy who works for the mob in Chicago and runs a tailor shop. He's a tailor. The person that works with him and has to deal with the mob is Zoe Deutsch. Two outstanding performances in a really wonderful, very entertaining movie. I got to say, my parents' favorite movie of last year, The Outfit. Terrific little movie with two great performances. Zoe Deutsch, Mark Rylance. Mark Rylance, by the way, also great in Bones and All. So that's another one. Margot Robbie had a terrific year in Amsterdam and Babylon. Two movies that have bombed, two movies that nobody likes, really. I loved Amsterdam, and I really liked Babylon, despite the fact that it is fucking Boogie Nights. Babylon is a frame-for-frame, beat-for-beat, motherfucking shameless remake of Boogie Nights. And I don't care what anybody says. You can say whatever you want about the movie, blah, 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 and it's fun, and I liked Babylon. I think Babylon has some amazing moments. The first, hour and 20 minutes is astonishing and insane and brilliantly, breathlessly, outrageously funny, but it drops apart and becomes more conventional as it goes along and follows the exact fucking storyline of Boogie Nights. It is Boogie Nights. All the people out there that are going nuts over it, it's so original. It's not original. It's not original at all. Instead of videotape ruining porno movies, it's sound ruining silent movies. That's it. Otherwise, it is Boogie Nights, beat for beat for beat for beat for beat, all the way down to Tobey Maguire playing Alfred Molina's role in a scene that's completely taken from Boogie Nights. So it is Boogie Nights, and then the whole montage at the end, the movie montage at the end, it's horseshit. But anyway, there is enough great stuff in Babylon to recommend it, and I am recommending it, but please understand that movie would not exist if he didn't go beat for beat for beat for beat remaking Boogie motherfucking Nights. Get that into your head, all these people. Oh my God, it's amazing. I've never seen anything like it. Yeah, you have. You did in 1997, and it was called Boogie fucking Nights. Anyway, Margot Robbie's amazing in Babylon. Me bitching about it, but I still like the movie. I just, people need to understand. It's fucking Boogie Nights. It aggravates me. Anyway, Margot Robbie had a great year. Boogie Nights, Amsterdam. She's fucking great in both of them. And both movies bombed at the box office. Daniel Jimenez Cacho from Bardo, another movie that everybody hated that I love. This is Alejandro Gonzalez Iñárritu's autobiographical, fantastical, insane meditation on celebrity and art. The main performance by Daniel Jimenez Cacho is amazing, and that's in Bardo. I will mention To Leslie a little bit later. One of my favorite film of 2022 is To Leslie. I wanted to mention Mark Maron. Mark Maron is unbelievable. Everybody is great in that movie. Bubs from The Wire is fantastic. Allison Janney, Stephen Root, and I'll get to Andrea Riceborough. I'm saving her for last. But Andrea Riceborough. Mark Maron's performance in To Leslie as the manager of a hotel, a motel, a crummy little motel, who tries to give an olive branch and help out an alcoholic who's hit rock bottom, is heartfelt, it's beautiful, it's funny, it's subtle. It's the best performance he's ever given. And again, Mark Maron, obviously a stellar stand-up comedian, a great writer, a fantastic podcast host, has turned out to be a really terrific actor, and by far the best work he's ever done is in To Leslie, which is the best movie of 2022, and I guarantee you, if you're watching this, you probably haven't seen it, and you need to fucking learn and watch it immediately. It's on VOD. It's available on streaming services. I know it's on Apple. It's called To Leslie, by far the best movie of 2022, and Mark Maron is amazing in it. I want to mention the entire cast, if I can. Confess Fletch, number 20 on my top 20 movies of the year. By far the most entertaining, simply entertaining, hilarious, the funniest movie of the year. I've seen it now, I don't know, a bunch of times. It's on Showtime. I've seen it a bunch of times, and it gets funnier and better and more entertaining every time. Greg Mottola does an amazing job bringing the character of Fletch back to the screen, doing it better than they did back in the 80s with Michael Ritchie and Chevy Chase. John Hamm, he's great as Fletch, but the entire cast, I'm just going to mention the entire cast. So basically, every single cast member of Confess Fletch is given a moment to shine. Not just a moment, but moments and scenes. Every single cast member is funny. They are all given hilarious things to do. It's one of the best comedic ensembles I've seen in a movie in a long, long time. So the entire cast of Confess Fletch: John Slattery, John Hamm, Roy Wood Jr., Aidan Mayari, Lorenza Izzo, Kyle MacLachlan, Annie Memolo, John Bioman, Lucy Punch, Marcia Gay Harden, and as the yacht club security guard who is obsessed with the Jay Giles band, every word this guy says is hilarious, Eugene Merman. The entire cast of Confess Fletch has great fucking moments. It's the best ensemble of the year, Confess Fletch. Nicole Kidman in The Northman. It makes you forgive her for the stupid Lucy Arnaz movie, the Lucille Ball movie, which was awful. And it makes you almost forgive her for the AMC stupid promo that she does. She's amazing in The Northman, Nicole Kidman. Zoe Kravitz in The Batman as the woman who they call Catwoman in the best Batman movie ever made. Again, all the performances in that. John Turturro is fantastic in that movie. Robert Pattinson is fantastic. Andy Serkis, all the way around. Just an incredible... incredible movie. The Batman and Zoe Kravitz. Ana de Armas for Blonde, a completely misunderstood movie that nobody got. She's amazing in it, playing the image of Marilyn Monroe that we all think we should know in a very dark, brutal movie. It's one of the best movies of the year. People didn't get it. You're all dumb if you didn't get that one. But anyway, she's amazing, and just because people didn't like the movie, you shouldn't ignore her performance. Ana de Armas in Blonde, amazing performance. Mia Goth in Pearl, that goes without saying, one of the best performances of the year. She won't get nominated. She was in X and Pearl this year. And she's become like a goddess of the horror genre, and she's great in Pearl. So Kristen Stewart in Crimes of the Future, David Cronenberg's brilliant movie, one of the best supporting performances of the year, quirky and funny and weird and awesome and different than anything she's ever done. So different than what she did last year in Spencer when she got nominated for playing Princess Di. And but so different than what she's ever done before. I think Kristen Stewart is one of the most interesting and lovely and great actresses on the planet. And the shit that she does in the supporting role in Crimes of the Future is some of the best work and most quirkiest and funniest she's ever done. Kristen Stewart, Crimes of the Future. Hong Chow in The Whale and The Menu, two completely different kind of performances. She stole both of those movies. She's amazing in The Whale, as in Brendan Fraser, and incredible in The Menu as part of the great ensemble of The Menu. But Hong Chow, a great year, The Whale and The Menu. Let's see. Colin Farrell had an amazing year. He had three great... He's great in The Batman. He's great in After Yang, a wonderful... heartbreaking and funny and very imaginative science fiction movie, and of course the Banshees of Inisherin. And if he should win Best Actor. Look, Brendan Fraser gave an amazing performance in The Whale. He did. It's a great movie, and he's great in it. But I'm rooting for Colin Farrell. Colin Farrell's performance in the Banshees of Inisherin is so layered, and he has such a huge arc. A much bigger arc than any other actor has this year. And it's funny and sad, and he's so lovable and so beautiful and just hilarious, and how his character changes and what he deals with and what he does in it. It's my favorite, one of my favorite performances. It's my favorite actor performance, my favorite male performance of the year, by far, Colin Farrell in The Banshees of Inisherin, but he also had After Yang and The Batman. Let's see. The Anna Cobb, We're All Going to the World's Fair. Best debut acting performance I've seen in maybe a decade. Easy. One of the best performances of the year just in general, one of the best lead actress performances of the year, and one of the best acting debuts in the history of movies. Anna Cobb in this super low-budget movie about the depths and sadness of being stuck in the internet and sucked down that wormhole that you go in and watching videos. She plays a lonely, sad teenager stuck in her attic room who might be an abusive father, and she's lonely and is reaching out to find something, to find any kind of connection. She finds someone online who also likes horror movies, and they begin a weird online relationship. Anna Cobb's performance in We're All Going to the World's Fair, which is a fucking great movie, We're All Going to the World's Fair, one of the best of the year, is an astonishing performance. A young girl in her teens making a film debut of majestic performance, just an incredible performance. She's also great in Bones and All as Timothée Chalamet's younger sister. Speaking of Bones and All, let's just get right to it. Taylor Russell, Timothée Chalamet, everybody else, Mark Rylance, David Gordon Green is in it. Michael Stuhlbarg is great in it, and Anna Cobb, as I mentioned, is great. But the leads, Timothée Chalamet and Taylor Russell, play lovers on the run who also happen to be cannibals in Luca Guadagnino's brilliant, unbelievably underrated, heartbreaking, beautiful, emotional lovers on the run, young rebels on the run. They happen to be cannibals, bones and all. One of the best movies of the year, and those two performances are unbelievable. Let's see. Brendan Fraser, and I also wanted to mention Sadie Sink in The Whale. Sadie Sink plays Brendan Fraser's daughter in it. She was in that fucking Stranger Things show, and I guess she's the one who's responsible for telling 18-year-olds that Kate Bush used to be something. She used to be great. Well, she is still great. But anyway, she's in that, I guess. I don't know. I don't give a fuck about that. But she's great in The Whale. Sadie Sink in The Whale. Frankie Corio and Paul Mescal in After Sun. An incredible performance. They play father and daughter. A remarkable pair of performances. Two of the best of the year. After Sun, one of the best movies of the year as well. And Colin Farrell, Kerry Condon, everybody in the Banshees of Inisherin. I mentioned Colin Farrell already. Brendan Gleeson is fantastic in that. It's just great. But I specifically want to mention Kerry Condon. And if Kerry Condon does not win Best Supporting Actress for the Banshees of Inisherin, I'm taking hostages. So that's all there is to it. And then finally, Andrea Riseborough. Andrea Riseborough was in Matilda the Musical, and she was fucking hilarious in it. Absolutely scene-stealing and wonderful and over-the-top. Exactly the kind of crazy, over-the-top, wonderful, stylized performance you'd expect from a Roald Dahl musical. She nails it. Speaking of other musicals, she's in Please Baby Please, where she has an incredible musical number at the end, and she's fucking great in that. And she's great in Amsterdam, where she plays Christian Bale's wife. And, of course, the best performance of any human being this year, Best Actress performance of 2022, is her lead performance in To Leslie. Andrea Riseborough in To Leslie, easily the best performance that any human gave in 2022, easily the best female performance that anybody gave. You can take your little Kate Blanchetts and your Michelle Yeohs, you can shove them up your ass, because Andrea Riseborough wipes the fucking floor with everybody. To Leslie, Andrea Riseborough, in addition to Amsterdam, Matilda the Musical, and Please Baby Please. A fantastic year for one of the best actresses in the world, Andrea Riseborough. So anyway, those are the performances that stood out for me. It's a lot. I know I'm babbling on and on and on. Slow down the video and go back and watch and pick out the ones that you should go back and check out. But that's a ton of performances from women, from men, supporting and lead, all of that stuff. But the crowning achievement as far as acting this year goes to Andrea Riseborough in To Leslie. And in addition to that, she was great in Matilda the Musical, Amsterdam, and Please Baby Please. An outstanding year for Andrea Riseborough. An outstanding year for a lot of actors and actresses. So anyway, check out those movies, and acting is good. I don't know.